You know what freedom actually is? Freedom is our capacity to solve all of our own problems. Any one of those problems you can't solve for yourself is to the degree you aren't free. Then you need to find out how to solve that problem for yourself. When you can do that, you don't need to ask permission from any man, woman, or child.
This is another hard one. It's another hard one by and large because not many of us have experienced it. You know, we hear people talk about discipline all the time and patience is a virtue. All these simple sayings we heard our whole life. Patience is a virtue. You have to master discipline because your discipline will keep you. Well, where we're going with this is about applying now who we are differently from applying our spirit onto it, is acquiring a desire for what we want to accomplish, but without expectation. And here's why you have to remove expectation. This is why when you go inside, we call the process the cremation of care, because you've got to stop giving a fuck about so much. You care too much. So we're now talking about getting rid of expectation, but for a specific reason. Because that expectation will fuck you. Why? It's very hard to be patient when you expect something. Because every 2 minutes you want to check. Every day you want to check. Every week you want to check. You expect a result back. And heaven forbid you don't get it in the duration that you expected to get the result. You might just give in. And herein lies the problem with that. You know, if you run in a 200-meter race with no markings and you hear, we're going to fire the gun when you've done 200 meters, how the fuck do you know that you're 180 meters in if there's no markings and you've never done it before? You see, you only got 20 meters left. But so many people give up at the 180-meter yard mark. And do you know why that is? They had too much expectation. Expectation will eradicate your patience. And you're doing something you've never done, that you don't know what looks like if you accomplish it. And also, it may have not been done by somebody who looks like you, Sigma. That don't mean you're not the man to do it. So, if you are running without expectation, you're not looking for the gunshot. The gunshot to let you know you've passed the mark is inevitable. You just got to run. But then you've got to gain this patience and the wisdom of patience that says, let expectation go. Now you are a creator God. All you've got to know is what I desire to do with all my emotional fiber is inevitable. Don't seek for it to happen in your time. It won't. It will happen when and as it is supposed to happen, and not before, and definitely not by you forcing anything, because the universe doesn't care. Why the fuck would the architect consciousness give a damn about little old you who's sweeping up leaves on a windy day? You see, in the scheme of things, you're the great unwashed who is becoming more spiritually adept. And our thinking governs everything. You know, you hear this all the time. All is mind, mind is all. It is. Being in retention of a fervent imagination. Because I am one of the most delusional motherfuckers you will ever meet in your life. I have so much self-belief and I have supreme confidence in me because I'm aware of the libraries my veins contain. You're not just talking to me, you're talking to Okai, my earthly guides. When you know that about yourself, what you have to fight now is the programming that you've been given over years to have an expectation. Because if you have an expectation, you're going to be looking for it, and you can't. Did you ever see a swimmer in a race who is looking up and swimming? Do you know what that does? It creates drag. Do you know the most powerful swimmer pulls back and kicks off with his legs, head underwater, and is doing laps, and he does not look up until he touches the other side? And when you touch the other side, you know you've made it. You don't look up, and you swim your hardest until you touch the other side with your head underwater. And that's what it means. Get your head down, do the work. Why do you think it only took me 5 months from imaginative spark to functional Sigma Carta, where you are receiving these lessons? Because I got my head the fuck down and swam until my hand touched the other side. That's it. But if you care what people think, you're just looking at me. Oh shit. Who the fuck told you to waste time creating drag in the water when you're supposed to be down in stealth mode working? These lessons are all so practical, but because we don't have a value of ourselves, it's impossible for us to have a value of the lessons that are being imbued for our development, because we don't even give that much of a shit about ourselves. We can't with the programming we have, because the programming has trained us to understand that we are the great unwashed. They're the great unwashed. You've left that camp now. You don't have any monkey in that circus. Sigmas aren't bound by the system's hierarchical beliefs and principles. Fuck them and who they know. That's the past. You pay to get in. We go around the back. We do what we want. Now I know I do. That's my permission set. That's what do as thou wilt means. Forget devil worshipping and all that nonsense. It means I can now do as I please. Me doing as I please doesn't make me want to rape women, doesn't make me want to molest children, doesn't make me want to rob banks or people, doesn't make me want to defraud people, doesn't make me want to manipulate women to sell their bodies to make me money. None of the above. My purpose is my own unique divine purpose. But now I'm in full retention of the knowledge to actually execute my purpose, which is merely transmuting who I am onto my vehicle, which we're all here as a byproduct of. So when I tell you, if I can do it, coming from where I've come from, you can do it. And all we need is the information. The information is key. The information is what makes us rich. You got no money? You could be homeless. You're broke. That's it. That's an economic state. That is a transient state. As part of your becoming, it is part of your path to reaching your destination, which you will never land at. You will always identify a new destination within your purpose, which is why you are currently being sorted with pain for the new floors that you have to be qualified to operate on. No qualification, no function. Weak men with bandy legs don't last long. Think about all the pain, the loss, the suffering you've had that's made you the fucking brick you are today. That brick is powerful. You think anybody can discard that? Think anybody can write you off? Fuck them and who they know. They're gonna wanna know you. When you've gone through this process, when you've been by yourself, when you come out, and you could care fuck what the great unwashed think. Oh shit, he don't care. Could give a fuck, you're nobody. Tell your mother you ain't nobody. And not only that, but you've actually become lighter. Because you've forgiven yourself. So you're lighter, you've forgiven yourself. You're clear about your intention. The universe is removing all the obstacles out of the way. You have no expectation for things to come back to you. You are just aware that it's inevitable that they will. Well, now you're a creator God. Now you are at the level where you can converse directly with your soul essence via your spirit because you're aware. You see, now we don't use the term belief anymore. Belief is for children, right? Put the tooth under the pillow. You'll have a shiny 2p piece in and fuck off. That's for imbeciles. Imbeciles believe. That's why Barry could sell them hope. Hope, we can do it. Hope is for hopeless people. We are aware. You see, like I am aware of the spiritual realm based on what I have manifested in this 3D reality. And I'm not talking about things. I'm now talking about with a spiritual entity. Real power. I know. I'm aware. Let people use belief. God bless them. They're the great unwashed. They still watch the news like it's 1983. Having expectations. Because the people told them this is what's going to go down in Chinatown. They've agreed because they're victims. Well, we're Sigmas. There's no victim. Because what we know is that in our becoming, we are improving our minds, and mind is all. And on a chessboard, when black and white set up, the only advantage any player has is the wisdom their nut contains. And now we're just going to play the game. And it's going to be demonstrable, right? Well, you're going to make what you know demonstrable, and you're going to be in it for the long haul and ride the process because you remove expectation. Somebody let you down, fuck them. A component gets knocked out the way, fuck it. We're going again. That wasn't for me. That wasn't the one. Now we're trying something else. Research and development wasn't for me. There's another one. And you know what's happening in that process? You're being sorted to have the qualification to operate at a tertiary level. Look at the smugness of these guys when they reach this level. They just smile. Do you know what that smile is? It's knowing. Do you know why sharks smile at you in the water? They've got bigger fucking teeth. Those teeth bite because you know. You're aware. There's no belief. That's eradicated. That's for the great unwashed. You know, when you talk about elites, this is where you are headed. When we talk about mystery school, because all of this is going to be unwound in a curriculum. You are just getting the bite-sized introduction to take the curriculum, to know that you are worthy of the curriculum. But elites know something we don't. And it sounds so simple that you will question why you've never had the epiphany before in your life. And it's because they know they deserve it. But now you're going to start doing the things necessary to actually acquire what you want. And it just comes down to how much you want it.
As Sigmas, we uphold, promote, and preserve our values.